Hey, what's going on guys? Saiyan here, back with another part to What If Goku Joined Raditz. This what if has been left off for a long while, but that was simply because I didn't feel like coming back to it after the 20-minute special, which mind you took a lot out of me and left me burnt out on this series. But with this return, get ready for a good part. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe. It's free and you can always change your mind later. Also, go follow my Instagram for behind the scenes stuff and early thumb releases. Click the link in the description to watch the previous parts if you haven't already. But with that, let's get into the recap. Previously, we saw the Z Fighters train vigorously to fight Frieza. Both Gohan and Piccolo went to the other world and learned the Kaioken and Spirit Bomb. They even participated in the Afterworld tournament, where they met and befriended Piccolo. Frieza and King Cold, after a fierce battle, were killed, but many of the Z Fighters were lost during the fight, including, importantly, Piccolo and one Nappa. Vegeta's pissed that Nappa died, and Piccolo is understandable because the Dragon Balls are gone. Our group now licks their wounds and comes up with a new way to revive them. Let's pick up right there. As everyone starts to get healed up, Gohan is especially pissed. With Piccolo dying, he became the first Super Saiyan, although that doesn't make him happy at all. He still lost his best friend, mentor, and practically father. He tries to contact King Kai, who of course replies. Gohan asks if there's any other way to bring back his friends. King Kai sadly doesn't know. Remember, originally, it was Krillin who mentioned Namek, and King Kai ended up finding it. That doesn't happen this time around, although there's another way for them to get there. Vegeta and the others are scavenging what was left of the Frieza ship, and inside from what's intact, they find planet Namek on a GPS. That was Frieza's next destination. Then it sparks. Vegeta mentions that this Piccolo character was a Namekian. Namek is the home world of those Namekians, so they can go there in hopes of getting Dragon Balls to revive Nappa. Vegeta wants to take this opportunity for himself, and at first, Kakarot agrees with him, although Raditz is the one to butt in and say Piccolo saved them all. They can revive everybody with this. Kakarot is shifted to Raditz after Gohan is brought up. Vegeta can't argue further, and the Saiyans propose their plan to the others. Once again, Gohan contacts King Kai, who is now able to give them coordinates, and Bulma starts to work on the ship. But not just any ship, she starts to work on Frieza. It was damaged during the fight, but not to the point of no repair. With a much bigger ship, it takes time, although not as much as it would to make a whole new one. After repairing it, she installs a gravity room as requested. It being a bigger and more advanced ship also means it travels much faster, so they get about 5 days to train while on their way. The people that aboard the ship are all the Saiyans, including Gohan, and Krillin joins along too, being the only human Z fighter left. They all train and get a lot stronger. Gohan remains pissed along the day, mainly at his father. He hasn't been much of a father as of late, so while training he likes to beat him around sometimes on purpose. While it is only 5 days, they all get a substantial increase from this. Originally it was just Goku training alone, but this time there are 4 people training with him. He got a 9 times increase between Earth and Namek, along the 6 days he trained, but we still have to consider the fact that it's a day less, so I would give everybody aboard an 11 times boost. Before they land on Namek, let's discuss everyone's power level. Kakarot is at 44 million, and Gohan follows very close behind at 40 million. Vegeta is at 38 million, and Raditz is at 33 million. Krillin is of course the weakest out of all of them, but he isn't weak. He would be at around 6 million. In reality, there is no urgent threat on Namek, so this should be relatively easy for them. They head over and are able to collect the Dragon Balls. Eventually they run into Guru. Guru lets everyone in and reads Gohan's mind, as he can tell Gohan is the purest. After analyzing the situation, he hands them the Dragon Ball and unlocks Gohan, Krillin, and Raditz's potential. Kakarot and Vegeta don't get the potential unlocked, because their hearts are not pure. Guru explains that while Kakarot was once pure, he has been corrupted. Some of you may be wondering, well, why did Raditz get his potential unlocked? As you know, throughout this time, he has been starting to change, mostly because of his nephew, and the fact that he was given another chance at life. One thing I would like to retcon is he and Bulma getting together. I said they would in part 2, but I forgot that in part 1, Bulma and Yamcha got married and had a kid, Trunks. So while that doesn't happen, Raditz is still making this transition to being good. With that explained, they move on to summoning Shenron. They wish for Piccolo to be revived first, and then realize there are 3 wishes. Gohan wants to bring back Tien and Yamcha. Vegeta wants to bring back Nappa. The situation gets heated, and this is when Goku finally decides to partially take his son's side on something. He says that one wish will be used to revive Tien or Yamcha, and the other Nappa, sort of being the mediator. Goku's wish is granted. Puranga disappears and everyone heads back to Earth. Using Shenron, the wish is to restore all the damage done because of Frieza. This also brings back whoever wasn't revived on Namek. Could be Tien or Yamcha, it doesn't really matter. We now enter the time gap to the Buu saga. It certainly would not be 7 years this time around, as we are far more into the story. It would be more around 3 years. In that time, Goten is born. Gohan grows up and meets Videl, but he never becomes a great Saiyaman since he wasn't influenced by the Ginyu Force. Raditz gets with Launch and even has a daughter named Ranch. Of course, if Raditz is going to become a good guy and date someone, we have to go with the Masako route and say he gets with Launch and has a daughter named Ranch. But during this time, something else happens. As you all know, Raditz, Vegeta, Goku, and Nappa all have tails. They all eventually unlock Super Saiyan, following what happened with Gohan. But they also have tails. Raditz is the one to pick up on this. Maybe he can use his Grade 8 form and combine Super Saiyan on top. He uses an artificial moon to turn into a Grade 8. Remember, he's able to control this, but as he tries to turn into a Super Saiyan on top, he starts to lose control and freak out. Everyone senses a ginormous power in the distance. Kakarot goes to check it out, and sees a Grade 8. He can tell it's Raditz, but wonders why he's in this state. Noticing the artificial moon, Goku blows it up, which sends Raditz out of the form. Raditz then explains what he was trying to do, and Kakarot helps him accomplish this. With Kakarot there, if Raditz loses control, it won't be much of a problem. It takes a long time, but one day when Raditz tries this, Ranch nears, and as he loses control, she's the one to freak out. Looking into her eyes though, Raditz starts to gain back control. His fur starts to turn golden. As the light surrounds him, nobody sees what's going on, but Raditz starts to shrink. When we see him again, it looks different, with red fur, long hair, and an immense power level. Raditz has now become a Super Saiyan 4. But of course, they wouldn't call it that. I can imagine them calling it Super Saiyan Grade 8, or Wrathful Super Saiyan, and something like that. For simplicity's sake, I will just call it Super Saiyan 4. Kakarot and the others might try to go for this, but they just can't seem to do it. Also, they don't want to be copycats, so the other Saiyans commit to learning Super Saiyan 2. Even Gohan does. But one day, Shin and Kibito teleport in to Goku's house, wanting to speak with Gohan. Kakarot tags along because these two random dudes just showed up out of nowhere. They explain the threat of Babidi and Majin Buu. So together, the Saiyans, Piccolo, and even the humans go to where Babidi's ship is. He wasn't expecting all this energy to just come to him, but now that it's here, he gladly welcomes them into the ship. Like normal, the 3 stages happen, and it doesn't really matter who goes, because at the end of the day, Pui and Yakon are easily defeated. Deborah poses a threat because he is extremely powerful, and only Kakarot and Gohan have Super Saiyan 2. And while they do have this transformation, they still aren't as strong as in canon. But there is one person who can fight Deborah, Raditz. Over the 3 years after he unlocked Super Saiyan 4 originally, he worked to unlock it at will, and while it's a draining transformation to use, he can do it for a short amount of time. So using Super Saiyan 4, he approaches Deborah and starts to fight him. Keep in mind, while Raditz has his transformation, his base is still not that powerful. He was probably weaker than Gohan, Kakarot, and Vegeta, because he was more focused on controlling Super Saiyan 4 instead of increasing his base power. But this doesn't mean Deborah is a threat to him. The spit does catch him off guard, and stones his handpiece, but after that it's easy. Babidi ends up teleporting the group out of there to save Deborah. After he does so, he comes up with a plan. Babidi wants to turn one or multiple of them into Majin. He still thinks Vegeta is a good candidate, but someone else in the crowd as well, Kakarot. He reads Kakarot's mind and realizes this one will definitely make a good Majin soldier. But Vegeta and Kakarot start to hold their heads in pain, and are then taken over by Babidi. They get a huge power increase from this, and knowing Raditz is the strongest, Goku immediately rushes at him. With his new power though, Raditz is easily able to keep up with his younger brother. Vegeta attacks Gohan and overpowers him. After a short fight, he chops him in the back of the neck, followed by attacking Nappa, who faces the same fate. Babidi commands him to take out Shin, but in the midst of the fight, Shin teleported out alongside Kibito. Vegeta instead goes to take on the other Z fighters. Piccolo poses a threat, but after a short fight, the Majin-powered Saiyan is able to defeat him as well. He then goes to help out Kakarot against Raditz. Shin swiftly teleports back in and picks everyone up, taking them to his world and healing them. Raditz is just barely able to hold out the 2 Majin-powered Saiyans. Their synergy is very off, so fighting them is even more difficult. But the 2's job isn't to defeat Raditz, it's just to keep him fighting. In the middle of the fight though, Spopovich and Yamu actually come back. Gohan wasn't as interested in going to the tournament, because he wasn't really into that stuff in his timeline, and Shin came in at just the right time. Although Videl and some other people are still there like Satan. During the tournament, Spopovich and Yamu didn't notice anyone with a significant power level, so instead they went to the back, and slowly attacked everyone, taking all their energy. Mr. Satan, Videl, and a lot of other people. Without the Z-Fighters to stop them, they were able to do this to everyone, and they did all die. This gives them a substantial amount of energy. Remember, Babidi came to Earth with the hopes of getting the energy he needed from the humans in the tournament. He wasn't informed there were going to be Saiyans there, or superpowered humans or Namekians. This means he knew he could get enough energy if he just had enough people to take energy from. I would say the two gathered just a little under what they got from Gohan. Babidi doesn't execute them this time, instead sends them to help Kakarot and Vegeta. They do so, but at this point, their help isn't needed. Raditz falls out of Super Saiyan 4 and is about to be killed, when suddenly the Z Fighters appear again. Although their objective isn't to defeat the two either, it's just to save Raditz, and they do so by simply using solar flares, smoke screens, and a bit of misleading. Even though Raditz was saved, the damage had been done. Babidi puts the rest of the energy that Spopovich and Yamu collected into Boo's eggs, and as it opens, Majin Buu is reborn. But that's where we're leaving things off for right now. So what did you guys think about this part? Did you like that Raditz was actually able to unlock Super Saiyan 4? How about not only Vegeta, but Kakarot turning Majin as well? What do you think will happen now that all the Z Fighters are on Shin's world, as well as Majin Buu being reborn? Leave any thoughts and suggestions down in the comments. I'll make sure to respond. But you need to make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be part of the Super Saiyan 4s. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.